keep each other's company, oh company. Here I go out to sea again. The sunshine fills my hair, and dreams hang in the air. Ghosts in the sky and in my blue eyes. You know it feels unfair. There's magic anywhere. Look at me standing there on my own again, up straight in the sunshine. No need to run and hide. It's so wonderful, wonderful life. No need to love or cry. It's a wonderful, wonderful life. The sun's in your eyes, the heat's in your hair.
Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels make you crazy. Come on, baby, don't say maybe. I gotta know if your sweet love is gonna save me.
When you close your eyes and you go to sleep, and it's down to the sound of a heartbeat, I can hear the things that you're dreaming about. When you open up your heart and the truth comes out. You tell me that you want me. You tell me that you need me. You tell me that you love me. And I know that I'm right, 'cause I hear it in the night. I hear the secrets that you keep. When you're talking in your sleep, I hear the secrets that you keep. When you're talking in your sleep, let me hold you in my arms at night. Don't you know you're sleeping in a spotlight? And all your dreams that you keep inside. Telling me the secrets that you just can't hide.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're very welcome.
Okay, are we ready?
Just keep everybody on mute. A little bit of background noise there. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. You're very welcome to this afternoon's focus on apprenticeships. This is week 1 of a 4-week webinar series, which will run every Thursday at noon. And it's the series of webinars run as part of our month-long celebration of jobs, skills and training in County Meath and the North East. So some of you would have joined us previously at this time last year. We hosted a very successful Meath Careers Expo. And in February of this year, which seems like a long time ago now, but on the 27th of February this year, we hosted an apprenticeship expo, both very well attended. And so given the circumstances that we're in now, everything has moved virtually. So we're thrilled to be able to bring you this virtual month-long experience for showcasing jobs, skills and training in the North East. If you want to go onto our website at any point, we have a jobs section on countymeathchamber.ie, and we have a virtual jobs wall there, and we have a new platform on our website where you can click and connect directly with employers. Some are employing, believe it or not. Many have been affected by phase 3 that we're in now, but there are still people employing. So if you want to go on to our Meath jobs page at some point, you can have a look at the available vacancies in the county. But for today, we're focusing on apprenticeships, and I suppose I just wanted to let you know about the contributors to today. So we've got 3 contributors on today's webinar. We've got Tony Smith, who represents the Regional Skills Training Centre in Dundalk. We've got an employer, Willie McMahon, representing CalX, and we've got Mark Barry, who's a current second year software developer apprentice with Ecom. So I'm going to move out of the way and let them give you the information. I suppose the key taking from today is to make sure that you get the information from an employer's perspective. I know there's a lot of you interested in how to apply for and avail of the apprenticeship incentive scheme. From a candidate's perspective, just in terms of the benefits and how to get on the scheme, and also from the Regional Skills and Training Centre's perspective in terms of just engagement. There's a lot of people on the call today. We've got Siobhan Keogh, who's a Regional Skills Forum Manager from the Mid-East. We've got Aoife McDade, who's the Employer Engagement Officer with the LMETB. Jackie Breen is the Acting Assistant Manager with LMETB. Elaine Peters is on the call as well, and she is with the Employment Support Services with the Intro Office in Navan. We've got a lot of secondary school counsellors, we've got employers, we've got candidates themselves. So just before we kick off and go to Anthony, who's our first speaker this morning, I just wanted to give everybody a little look back. Believe it or not, it's only 7 months ago that since we held the Apprenticeship Expo over in Trim, hugely successful event connecting employers with candidates. And we have a video from that, and thankfully this video was captured. It seems like a foreign notion now that so many people would be rumbling around in the same room and interacting, but it's nice to look back at what we did in February and look forward to what we will, please God, get to do again. So first of all, we're going to start with that video. It's 1 minute long, and then we'll move over to Anthony. Thank you all. Okay, it's hard to believe, isn't it? In the absence of being able to interact face to face, the next best option is this virtual platform, and we have a lot of people, as I say, registered in with us today. Just to let you know that the session is recorded and it will be available on the webinar library on the Meath Chamber website, and you'll be able to access it there if there's anything that you missed today. This is an interactive webinar. I encourage people to use the chat box if they have any questions for the speakers, and I'll moderate the questions when they finish up. And if we have time at the end, we might be able to, you can take yourself off mute and ask the question directly. We are trying to get this in within the hour, so I suppose we don't want to hold people back, and thank you all for your time. So let's get started. I'd like to introduce Anthony Smith. Anthony is the Senior Training Advisor with the Regional Skills Centre in Dundalk. The Regional Skills and Training Centre is the largest training facility, and it's located on the Coast Road in Dundalk, County Louth. So the Regional Skills and Training Centre operates under the remit of the Louth Meath Education Training Board, and in their centre they offer a full range of training programmes, including apprenticeships, community-based training, evening courses, traineeship programmes, and full-time day courses for Louth and Meath. So Anthony, without further ado, I'm going to ask you to take it from here.
Thanks very much, Paula. Let me see. First of all, can everyone hear me? Yes? Zoom so. As Paula said, my name is Tony Smith, and I'm one of 4 training advisors that's based in the Regional Skills Training Centre, Coast Road, Dundalk. And my main job as a senior training advisor would be to liaise and work closely with companies, existing companies that have apprentices in Meath, and new companies that want to take on an apprentice. So if you're a new company and you want to take on an apprentice, you can contact myself or one of the other 3 training advisors in the Regional Skills Training Centre. And we call out, we bring the range of on-the-job elements of the 4-year apprenticeship. We go through those and how to sign off on a daily basis with the company. We make sure the company is VAT registered and they have a qualified person within that trade that can act as an assessor for the company. Then that means that the company is eligible to take on an apprentice, and then we register that apprentice with the company and we work with them across the next 4 years on the job and off the job elements. So an apprenticeship is a 4-year apprenticeship in the south of Ireland, split into 7 phases. Phase 1, 3, 5 and 7 is when the apprentice is physically on site, working through his 4-year apprenticeship underneath a qualified mentor and assessor. Then the apprentice is released, first of all, at phase 2, which is 22 weeks, and that's done in one of the FOSS training centres around the country. Phase 4 and phase 6 is an 11-week programme, and they're done in the DKITs around the country. All aspects of the apprenticeship have to be completed, both practical and academic, for them to successfully achieve a National Craft Certificate at the end. The new apprenticeship scheme post 2016. So the concept that SOLAS have is that any program that is done at a 3rd level education facility can be done through the apprenticeship route. In the hospitality industry, for example, commis chef, sous chef, apprenticeship, butchery has been revamped and relaunched. The accountancy apprenticeships. And the main difference between the post 2016 apprenticeships and the traditional is that they are 2 or 3 year apprenticeships. We're seeing a huge uptake in the IT. Anyone that has a flair for IT can now do a 2 or 3 year IT apprenticeship. We also have a logistics apprenticeship, but the main difference with those new apprenticeships is that they're consortium led. So the consortium will go out, meet the company, explain all the aspects of the new apprenticeship. They'll work with the company and the company mentor. And when I go out to register the company, they're familiar with all the aspects of the new apprenticeship in comparison to the traditional crafts, such as electrical, plumbing, carpentry, etc. One of the main questions I get asked is, how does a company register or make themselves eligible to take on an apprentice? So as I mentioned, they can contact one of the 4 training advisors. We'll go out, we'll meet the company, we'll make sure that they're actively doing all the aspects of the on-the-job elements, and then we'll register the company. There is a government initiative at the moment for anyone who takes on an apprentice. It's a €3,000 grant. It's 2,000 when the apprentice is registered, and a further 1,000 is paid if the apprentice is still there in 12 months' time in active employment with that company. How that works is that once the company takes on the apprentice, SOLAS actively captures that on the system and sends them an email. Within the email is a link, and the link is the company detail, the company number, and the apprentice registration number is the first page. The second page is the company's bank details. So it's actually paid directly into the company's account. So that's the government grant. Another question we get asked on a regular basis is, how does an apprentice get an apprenticeship? Normally it's through word of mouth. So an apprentice would contact a company in their local locality. They would go along and introduce themselves, give a CV, and normally a company will offer them some work experience. At which time, at the end of normally a 2 or 3 or 4 week period, then the apprentice would be offered an apprenticeship with that company. And it's at that stage that I get involved. The company would contact me and say, Tony, I have a new apprentice here. Could you send out the registration forms? And I would call out, meet the apprentice, leave the registration forms, and they would be returned to me. Some apprenticeships require a colour vision test and some don't. But the basic entry requirement for an apprentice in the south of Ireland is 16 years of age, with a minimum of 5 passes at a junior certificate or 3 passes in a leaving certificate. Some trades do require a colour vision test for obvious reasons, such as electrical, etc. Plumbing is another one, and those forms are supplied by myself to the company. Some companies do require, there is no requirement for maths as an essential subject for an apprenticeship, but some companies, depending on the trade background, such as electrical, instrumentation, because they would be very heavily physics based, would look for that subject on a CV and would look for maybe a pass in a leaving cert maths honours. But it's not an essential, but some companies do look for it because of the level of physics in that specific trade. Another aspect of an apprenticeship is that an apprentice, he's self-sufficient. They're actually paid in comparison to an industrial qualified wage. So there's a first year allowance, a second year, a third year, and a fourth year allowance. There is a scheme there for a female bursary if a company wants to take on a female apprentice, which we've had huge uptake in the last 2 or 3 years. There is a bursary there of €3,200 if a company wants to take on a female apprentice. So the plan is for the new apprenticeships is, these are the ones from 2016 onwards, is that the main difference between those and a traditional trade is that they're 2 or 3 year apprenticeships, and they are done normally 3 or 4 days on site working under a qualified person, and the 4th day is done through blended learning with the lecturers in the various ITs that consortium is based with. Like an example, polymer engineering. Polymer engineering, for those maybe mightn't be that familiar, is working with plastics. And they reckon that that's the new way for apprenticeships to go. Huge stimulus in that area. And that's done through Athlone IT. So another one, geo drilling. Anyone that's involved with mining or drilling, that's another new apprenticeship. But the view with Solus is that, as I said, any 3rd level program can now or will be offered through the apprenticeship route. That's the new initiative. And we're seeing more and more of these new apprenticeships being launched. Hairdressing is another one. That apprenticeship has been actually revamped, restructured and relaunched now. So you will actually be able to serve an apprenticeship through a hair salon or a barber salon.
Question coming in here, Anthony. Is there a register? Is there a register of registered employers who are eligible to hire an apprentice? This would be very useful for job seekers who are to know who's already eligible. So is there such a thing as the register of registered employers?
There is a register. We would have a database of all the registered employers nationally around the country. We used to be able to give those out, but with data protection now, as everyone knows. But what I'm advising prospective apprentices to do is, if you go online, Google an example, and if you Google local plumbers, local electricians, carpenters in we'd say the Navan or Drogheda area, you would get a list of those.
Okay, we have you may actually, some of them may be chamber members, so we have a town by town directory on our own chamber website for different services. There's a second question in here, Anthony. Can a social enterprise take on an apprentice? So a social enterprise
can do, yeah. Yes, they can. And I suppose the main difference with apprenticeship and maybe 3rd level education is that you can take an apprentice on any day, any week of the year. There's no set time. Any company that's out there, provided they're doing the range of work for that specific apprenticeship, can take an apprentice on any day, any week, any month of the year, as I said. And with the government initiative now, from March until December, they will be able to avail of that €3,000 grant as well.
Oh, very good. How has COVID impacted?
It's very
apprenticeship?
difficult. It's very difficult at the minute. The apprentices that were in training from March, they've all been taken back, but the classes have been reduced to 7 instead of 14. Most of the, or all of the traditional crafts at phase 2, there would be 14 apprentices in a class, but because of social distancing, there's only 7 allowed in. Even the classes that are coming into the training centre now in Dundalk, there's only 7 candidates instead of 14.
Okay.
So I think what Solus would probably do is look at putting on additional classes around the country to just the way the COVID situation is at the minute. That's the way it's been handled at the moment.
Okay, but it hasn't interrupted the actual the process. It's just slowed down the amount of people who can interact face to face or in classes. But there is no apprenticeship that's been cancelled or postponed.
No, there is no apprenticeship that's been cancelled. I suppose the big 3 of the traditional crafts, as we call them, would be electrical, plumbing, and carpentry. They're the big intake at the moment. But no, there's been no stop or no cease in the apprenticeship. Everything is continuing as normal. It's just the class sizes are smaller.
Okay. Another question here: is the support grant available for 2nd or 3rd year apprentices, or is it only for new apprentices in year 1?
No, it is. If an apprentice changes from one company to another and restarts the apprenticeship, the grant is there, as well as a new apprenticeship, a new apprentice starting with a company. Yes.
But if you're in a 2nd year of an existing, or a 3rd year of a 4, if you happen to find yourself in 3rd year of a 4-year apprenticeship, the grant is you're not eligible for the grant. It's only for starting off, is it?
It's only for a new apprentice starting. Yes. Okay. Yeah, because those apprentices would have been registered prior to the 1st of March.
Okay. There's a question in here from Peter: are apprenticeships being extended for people who have missed block releases in Solus?
No. Obviously, an apprentice, once he's registered and his first phase 1 comes in, he goes on the national database to be called for his first block at phase 2. So the apprentice, even though they might have to wait to get into the phase 2, an electrical apprentice is normally about 15 months before he gets to his first phase 2 block. But because the classes are bigger at phase 4 and phase 6, it does balance out across the 4 years, and they normally finish on time. There is a few instances now where they're running maybe 3 or 4 months over, but that's just because of the COVID. But normally all apprentices will come in and finish on time on the 4-year apprenticeship.
Okay, keep the questions coming in, guys. There's some good points in there. So let's just go back a little bit, Anthony, to the bursaries, the female bursary and the €3,000 for starting out. Where to apply for them? Online, is it? You're directing everybody to the...
What happens is, once you register an apprentice from the 1st of March until December this year, once the apprentice is registered, Solus pick it up on the national database, and they actually contact the company in question through an email. And within the email is the link for the company to claim that government grant, €2,000 on registration, and a further 1,000 is paid directly into the company's bank account once they're with the company in full employment for 12 months after that. With the female bursary, and there's a huge uptake with female apprentices across all the trades. What happens is the first half of the €3,200 grant is paid 10 weeks after registration, and the remainder of that grant is paid at phase 3 when the apprentice has completed phase 2. So it's split into 2, but they do get the full grant for a female bursary, plus the €3,000 on top of that for on the government initiative.
Okay, that's great. I know in our expo back in February, we had Darren Caldwell had a female mechanic, or crash repairs mechanic.
Crash repairs, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Great. She's a super contributor on the day as well. So that's good. Now, is there anybody like to ask a question to Tony directly here at this point? If so, please take yourself off mute. We have about 2 or 3 minutes here now. So anybody who has a question, any query, anything?
I've seen one pop up there, company, how to register my company. So you can contact any of us through 042 9355 700 is the office number in Dundalk, and they'll be able to put you in contact with one of the training advisors. So what happens is, We'll arrange to meet you on site. We'll go out with all the relevant information and documents, and we'll get the company registered. And that would leave you then eligible to take an apprentice on.
Okay, so you're one of 4.
I'm one of 4. There's obviously myself, Tony Smith, Elma McMahon, Frank Woods, and Barbara Brennan are the 4 training advisors that's in the Regional Skills Training Centre. And we split the areas of Louth and Meath up between the 4 of us.
Okay, so I will share your contact details with anybody that's registered here anyway. So if you didn't catch the phone number or anything like that, don't worry about it. But just to finish up then, Anthony, is there any final point you'd like to make there yourself, or are you happy to?
We made an online video last Friday, that's up on the Regional Skills and Training website, and the 4 contact details for the training advisors are actually in the first couple of slides on that online video. And the reason why we've done that is the schools in Louth and Meath would traditionally come into the training centre, and we give them the tour of what we offer in the various apprenticeships and trades. So we've done this online virtual video that we could send out to the schools. But if anyone wants to contact, the 4 contact details are on the first couple of slides on that video.
Okay, now we had hoped, we do still hope to show that video. Our original plan was to start with the video and then go to Tony, but we decided we'd keep it as interactive as possible. We'll go on through the speakers, and if we have the 10 minutes at the end, we'll play that video. But don't worry if you don't get to see it on this webinar. It will be on our webinar library bank on our chamber website, and we'll circulate it after the event. But for now, thank you very much for your time, Anthony. If you'd like to stay with us, there may be, there's a question coming in there, employers. Oh yeah, that's fine. So that's the Jobs Club. There's some contact details in there from Roisin in the Jobs Club. Okay, so we'll leave it there then. Stay with us just in case anything comes back, Anthony, that you might be able to address. But for now, we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to Willie McMahon. And Willie is an employer who is currently advertising an apprenticeship position on his career section of his website. Willie, as I say, is the director of, along with his wife and a very strong team behind him, runs a company called CalX Instrumental Services. It's funny that you mentioned that, Anthony, about the maths in terms of calibration or instrumentation. So Willie might be able to give us an insight there in terms of the qualifications needed. But CalX Instrumentation Services emerged as a result of a merger between Trifold Control and Eurotech Calibration Services Limited in June 2019. So they're just over a year together. Based in Kells, County Meath, CalX is a family-run business. It's overseen by Willie McMahon and his wife Claire and their team, and they provide calibration, management and instrumentation sales solutions to clients across the medical device, pharmaceutical, food and beverage, dairy, manufacturing and retail sectors in Ireland and abroad. They are an authorised verifier on behalf of the legal metrology service, and they're the largest nationwide verifier and calibration body for diesel, petrol, kerosene and agri-diesel dispensers. Delighted to have Willie with us today. He's a very busy diary, but he squeezed us in. Thanks, Willie. And I'm just going to hand over to you, and maybe you give us a little bit of a background from an employer's perspective in terms of how you find the apprenticeship programme runs. I know you've got one on your website at the minute for a 4-year standard electrical instrumentation apprentice. But we'll hand to you.
Paula, thank you, and Tony, thank you for your bit as well. Basically, yes, we do calibrations, and if I give you a tuppence worth of what calibration is, when you pull into your petrol station and you put 20 litres of diesel to your car, how do you know it is 20 litres? Hopefully somebody will have calibrated that pump, and that is essentially what calibration is all about. The types of apprenticeship that lend itself directly to that is instrumentation or electrical instrumentation. We have a mix, so we actually have 4 different types of apprentices working with ourselves at the minute. So I'll start from the beginning. Related directly to our trade of instrumentation is 4 years of pure instrumentation. It's controls, it's measurement. It's a trade that is niche, very niche. There would traditionally be about 30 students intaking per year. There's more doctors getting qualified in Ireland every year than there is in instrumentation. So there's a massive shortage of instrumentation people at the minute. And that is because every pharmaceutical in the country goes I want 3 of them, and maybe I'll take 4. The next most relevant then is electrical instrumentation. And we've taken on apprentices who have come to us in 2nd year, 3rd year, and they come in with electrical instrumentation. And traditionally, the 2 that's coming to mind that I'm thinking of is late 2nd year, they had finished their phases, electrical instrumentation, late 2nd year, early 3rd year, and they had 0 instrument experience. They were with employers who were only exposing them to electrical knowledge, and they wanted more instrument, and we can give them that. Now, we say, right, lads, the majority of what you're going to do with us is instrumentation. So we would prefer instrumentation. We would look to probably take on apprentices that and say, right, lads, we'd really, or lassies, and look, unfortunately, we're not getting the interest there from girls. We're simply not, and we are reaching out to them and we're interviewing, but we're not getting, there's offers being made, but they're not biting. We went out and looked. A year ago, we went out, and she joined us, but she joined us and went on to a college course. She did not take up the instrumentation. So I would like to grow our team, and I would like a stronger female voice in that team. I think it's very important.
Maybe it's hard to understand, like you explained the process of calibration quite simply there, but maybe it's hard to understand what it is, you know, and maybe
it's very niche. Look, and I'll joke and say my mother still doesn't know what I do. Do you know? And it's honest to God that the explanation of the petrol and diesel pumps, and it's the simplest explanation I can explain to anyone. And when you go into a shop and you buy a pound of ham, right? We're talking a kg of ham.
Yeah.
How do you know you're getting a kg of ham? Well, somebody should have calibrated that weighing scales, because there's money involved in that weighing scales. But if you're in the pharmaceutical industry, it's not a pound of ham, it's not 20 litres of diesel. You're dealing with, I want to mix 100 gram of this drug with 50 gram of that drug, and I want to mix 2 grams of that drug. Well, you better make sure your weighing scales is reading the right grams, or you're going to have a problem.
That's absolutely.
It's pharmaceutical industry, it's medical device, making a product that's going to go inside your body. Dairy, is the milk pasteurized? Tesco's is going to come up to Glanbia to I'll take one of our customers, Glanbia, Virginia there. All the cream that's leaving that place is going to make Baileys. The Department of Agriculture come down and inspect them on a 2 monthly basis. Diageo, who owns Baileys, comes down and inspects them probably on a monthly basis. And they come down and they look, the floor's clean, great, show me the training records for that, and show me the calibration records for your temperature probe for the cream that's going in. So it's all food quality, food safety. Pharmaceutical aspect is mix a little bit of this with a little bit of that, and you're sure of the right quantities, and you cook it for this time at this temperature. And then all of those values have to be accurate. The range of industries that we're getting exposed to, and I look at the people that we have, like we have a team of 6 people now this week below in a power station in Wexford. So that's all. They want to make sure they're on a major shutdown, and they want to make sure that all of the instrumentation that they have on site is measuring the right from pressures to flows to temperatures. So the variety and exposure that you're getting in an apprenticeship is excellent, but in instrumentation is equally brilliant. That's instrumentation. Electrical instrumentation is obviously you're dealing with power, the electrical side of it, and instrumentation. It's a good course. I would encourage anyone to do it as well. If I jump on, we have an accounting technician. I started there 2 weeks ago, and she is loving it. Always wanted a qualification, had always been doing accounts, never had a qualification on paper, and is now started a 2-year accounting apprenticeship. Everything paid for, everything. Books, course. It's ran in, this one is running in Monaghan. It's also in Dublin. Look, it's brilliant. So she's very happy with that. The other apprenticeship that we have, and it only started about 3 weeks ago, is the sales apprenticeship. So again, a person that was with us was doing all of our internal administration and sales, and that apprenticeship is the first. It's only after being launched, and it's going brilliant. They are doing all their course online. I think in January they're talking about moving it to Castlebar. So that apprenticeship is being ran by Sligo, Mayo Sligo. The program structure of it is excellent again. Do you know? So I will compliment the structure that's in place for the accounting and the sales apprenticeship. Absolutely brilliant. So
from an employer's point of view,
that's my tuppence.
From an employer's point of view, you've had a good experience. You're crossing over there into traditional and non-traditional apprenticeships, and into some of the very new ones, as you've mentioned, sales. How do you find it from an employer's point of view then in letting the candidates released, I suppose, in terms of the study element? I know you ultimately get the benefit back, but from an employer, that's an interesting perspective.
COVID hasn't been helpful. I will say that, but if we step away, if we ignore COVID, we accept it and it has to happen, and it simply has to happen. So they have to go away, and we told our apprentices, we will never hold you back. We will not stop you. And some employers will. They will say, oh, there's a big project on, I can't let you go to college, and you end up with a lad doing 5 years for a 4-year apprenticeship. No, you're going to annoy lads now if you start doing that, and lads are going to jump ship. So with COVID, could have been done maybe a little bit better, but we overall look at it, it's going to leave a mess. There's a glut of lads probably going to be going to college and into phase 2 in the springtime. It will be disruptive to us. We would love as much notice as possible from Sulis, but college has to happen. It absolutely has to happen. So yeah. Well,
and then we've got a comment in here from Councillor Yemi, who is just discussing, or I suppose opening up about women in apprenticeships and the slow uptake. First of all, it's relatively new. Secondly, I suppose we are always trying to get the message out about apprenticeships and other career pathways other than college. Somebody used to, especially this year, or maybe we're all more tuned in this year with COVID and how it's impacted on the traditional exam structures. But I heard somebody on the radio just saying, if you were going to Galway, there's more than one way to go. You can take the bus, you can take the train, you can cycle, you can crawl, whatever. You'll get there. But so Councillor Yemi says here that maybe the likes of yourself or other employers might speak at career days in schools, and I know that you did speak at our Apprenticeship Expo, where we had every school in County Meath registered to attend, and some of the career counsellors are tuned in today, and maybe somebody would like to either add your comment into the chat box here, or ask Willie directly if any of the counsellors would like to input here. Most young people don't know for sure what they want to do, even when they have written their leaving cert. So maybe just Yemi's point here is that we could interest them in giving an apprenticeship a go after their exams, even as in terms of part of the 4th year work experience in terms of an apprenticeship. My input on that is, and this is from having interviewed and having taken on and offered jobs and having apprentices coming in directly after leaving cert, and they don't know what they want, and they need to figure it out a little bit. I would encourage anyone to come into instrumentation, but our preference is that we have somebody who is a leaving cert plus 1 year. Okay, they've worked somewhere, they've been at home, I don't want to do that, now I want to do an apprenticeship. Where we've had the most success and the most reward to us and to the apprentices we have is where they've gone to college for a year to do 3 years of science and discovered after year 1, oh God, I don't want to do 3 years of science, and the apprenticeship is there, and we've seen that they've learned and they've done their college for a year, they've figured out their life. That's where we get the most success. The 2nd year apprentice that we took on, he had a degree in ag science. Do you know, he got his degree and figured out, no, I don't want to be an agricultural scientist. I want to do an apprenticeship in electrical and instrumentation.
and brilliant lad. You know, we have lads of 30 with us. So this is, apprenticeship is not just about people who are 18.
Yeah, appreciate that.
We have 19 to 31 is our age category at the minute for apprentices of who we have on board at the minute. Even older. There's actually, yeah, we'll move on.
I was going to say, our next speaker, it didn't follow that, didn't come directly out of school and into apprenticeship either, and Mark will tell us his story now. But Anthony, just there's a question in there that maybe you might be able to address, or maybe some of the other people on the line from the other training facilities. Are any of the PLC courses suitable for leading to an instrumentation apprenticeship?
In Dundalk, we do two. We do a small construction pre-apprenticeship. It just gives them an idea of the carpentry, a little bit of electrical, a little bit of plumbing, a little bit of painting and decorating. But there's a good engineering program in Dundalk. Now it is based towards the engineering. We don't really have a PLC course that would lend itself, as Willie said, to instrumentation or EI apprenticeships. As Willie said, the instrumentation, it is very niche. And some trades there would be just a bigger uptake in some trades in comparison to other. But for a PLC course, it would have to be tailored with a lot of electrical, some EI, some instrumentation, and it would have to be very specific. But at the moment, I suppose to sum that up, no, we don't have a PLC course at present.
And as you mentioned earlier, then the pre-requirements for the instrumentation, the maths is important there, as opposed to some of the other apprenticeships where it wasn't necessarily.
I suppose, look, if a guy was doing, and to go back what Willie said, if you had a guy that was doing metalwork and engineering and he had a good flair for it, well, then some of the engineering trades would be maybe suitable for them. Where there's a lot of welding, there's a lot of fabrication, a lot of steel work. But there's such a change in a lot of the trades in the last 10 or 15 years. And as Willie said, the instrumentation and the EI guys, those apprentices would be away on block release longer than the traditional apprenticeships.
Okay.
So they would be, even though they would be getting the 4-year apprentice, they would be losing them more for the off-the-job elements. So all of the, I suppose underneath the electrical umbrella, you will have electrical instrumentation, security systems and access control. Those, because they're science trades, there is a lot of physics, maths, academic side of it. So that's why a lot of companies would look for minimum leaving cert. The apprentice, they're a bit more mature, they would be stronger on the academic maths, as Willie said. You know, they would be more challenging. If you look at carpentry, the main contribute there would be technical drawing. Like even a tool maker now is a high-end CNC programmer, 2D, 3D, SolidWorks, graphics. That's the way that industry and trade has gone. And all the trades are moving to that academic side because the way industry has changed and technology has moved on. So like an apprentice that comes through the apprenticeship route in Ireland, he is a very, very well-rounded apprentice in comparison to some of the other apprenticeships served maybe in the UK or on the continent or other parts of the world. It's that they only expose them to certain elements within that trade, whereas here in Ireland, they get a very, very broad exposure. And that's testament to the companies that are out there training apprentices as well, the variety of work that they're doing and exposing their apprentices. Like it always amazes me. Like I would have been an electrician by trade and would have taught in the college for 15 years. So it's amazing when you see an apprentice that's only out there 8-9 months, the range of skills that he has, both practically and academically, when they actually are released from the company to come in. It always amazes me. And I've taught female apprentices in the past as well, and they're always exceptional, and they're very driven to excel in their own trade. Like we have, I think it's around 15 female apprentices in Louth and Meath actively at the minute. It is small, but it is definitely growing. And we're picking those up when we do the schools talk. And that was another reason for doing that virtual tour last Friday.
Okay, thank you. Look, I mean, I know from the candidate's point of view, the learn and earn opportunities are huge. And it's not just about having a bit of money in your back pocket, but you're also so much more adaptable, because we all look at the traditional career path of staying in one job for 20, 30, 40 years, or God knows even longer, is a thing of the past almost. You know, we're more adaptable, and you need, when you come through that, I know that my career path brought me through a certain amount of training, and definitely at the end of it all, you're so much more adaptable for different types of business and industry. Two more questions before we move on. Just general comments. This is a huge issue right now across the board. 80% of grads work outside their degree or their discipline. And another comment here, just I'm so looking forward to the day when apprenticeships will be seen as an education to the trainings designed to enable certification and graduation like any high institution. Those trainings are so powerful, and on completion, the guarantee practical knowledge and on-the-job experience. And I suppose that's just playing back in. There's a question here. Does the LMETB keep a database on applicants looking for particular apprenticeships for potential employers? So is there a database for the employers, I suppose, looking back? Did the LMETB keep a database of applicants looking for particular apprenticeships for potential employers?
We actually do, yeah. And at present, we're looking at updating that database for a company that they can register online, and it'll be available for it. So an apprentice could go in the Regional Skills Training Centre, log on and see various companies that are looking for apprentices under the various trades. But like what we're seeing now is a trend, especially in third and fourth year apprentices, because of the exposure and the range of work. They're actually going on, when they finish their apprenticeship, which is a QQI level 6, they're going on to do electrical engineering or construction engineering or mechanical engineering. As I say to an apprenticeship is a stepping stone.
Yeah.
You know, and it can lead you wherever you want to go in the world, if you want to travel or if you want to further that education. And because of the depth, as Willie said, about the practical and the academic side of it, they're finding a degree course very, very easy to handle after completing an apprenticeship.
Very good. Okay, so that answers the last
Well,
question there in terms
can
of.
I just come in on that, and I would echo that, and to Roisin McNeil, I don't know that lady. The QQI instrumentation and electrical instrumentation is level 6. I think it's not fair. I think the amount of education that goes into those two trades is not reflective of a level 6, and it's not this forum, but I think there is a lot of work to get a level 6. There is college courses out there as well that are giving a shorter time frame, a higher cert level 7, and Solus needs to be aware of the changing marketplace that's out there. There's some sites I know of where they will not take on people with anything below a level 7. And you're going, I've done 4 years doing what I'm doing, but I still only have a 6.
Yeah, that's the point. Absolutely.
Just to come back on that, Willie, for yourself, Solus, the trade unions, QQI, etc., they are looking at some of the trades because of the academic requirements and exams to move them to a level 7, 8, or in some cases even a 9. That's
Yeah.
looked at.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. Look, Willie, I know actually, I know somebody who's on doing an instrumentation apprenticeship. Believe it or not, as much as nobody knows, and he and it was all that chap wanted to do. Did his leaving cert and wanted to do that. I understand actually when his mother told me at the side of a football field what he wanted to do. I said I actually know what that is. If he wants a pound of ham, he has to know that it's a pound of ham. But that's even simple. That even simplifies it down, Willie, because if you look at when you come out of here, be it medical, pharmaceutical, food and beverage, manufacturing, retail, I mean, you're hugely adaptable into different sectors there. So I just want to thank you for your time, Willie, and
thank you, pleasure.
Hold that there. As I say, any apprenticeships or opportunities for apprenticeships, or that information is all on the apprenticeship page on the Meath Chambers website. So we're just going to park that one for now and move on to our third speaker, who is Mark Barry. So delighted to have Mark. Mark is a current second-year software developer apprentice with Ecom Merchant Solutions, and Mark is based in Navan. a little bit about Mark here. His bio says that he didn't follow the usual path. So you fit in here well, Mark. He not only overcame 2 bouts of open heart surgery, but he's also blazed a trail for students to enter the world of fintech via apprenticeships. As part of Mark's apprenticeship, part of his time is hands-on with practical work, and he gains experience and learning in e-com, which is a very fast-growing industry. Mark, fintech industry. Would you come in and give us, from the candidate's point of view now, a little bit on for how, why, where, when, and the benefits, please?
Yeah, of course. So a little bit more background on myself was I actually was in my 4th year of college. I had to repeat the year, and I ended up having open heart surgery and missed out on my exams, and it was just too much to go back to. I just didn't want to, and I decided to just apply for work with a company and chance my arm, and that was with Ecom, and they're good enough to reach out to me and say, actually, there's this apprenticeship if you want to do it. Like, we can tell you know what you're talking about, but you don't have any official qualifications. And I was like, perfect, I'll do that, anything at all to get my foot in the door. And it's been amazing ever since. I can't actually think of the words to describe it. It's just been such a good experience for myself. So much experience on the job, the people you meet, the stuff that you learn just being there is far outweighs actually what I learned through my 4 years in college. So the company itself, like I said, we are a fintech company, and with everything that's gone on in the world at the moment, we specialize in point of sales terminals, which are the ones that you see in every shop you use to pay with your card. And obviously they have gone skyrocketed through the roof, so they've become even more important in these present days. On top of that, then we do online transactions as well and e-commerce transactions. So we're really getting out there, and just last week we launched a massive project, which I am proud to say I had a hand in as well. I designed the entire UIs for them and implemented the code for all that. So yeah, it was a big change, big step forward for myself as well. Just a few points that I wanted to hit on that Willie had mentioned about actually going for the apprenticeships and the age differences and stuff like that. Just don't worry about it. With us, there are just 2 female apprentices, but there's only 12 of us in the course to begin with. Out of the 12, one of the guys was already offered his job as a full-time position, and he left the apprenticeship and just took on the job full-time. One of the girls that's with us used to be a teacher and decided to do the apprenticeship. One of the other girls had a degree in computing but never did anything with it for years and needed to just refresh her knowledge and did the apprenticeship program. There's another guy in the class that's got a degree in engineering and decided that wasn't for him, and he came forward and did the apprenticeship as well. And then even the age range, I'm somewhere in the middle and I'm 29 years old.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and
Paula.
Your original course was in computer gaming, from what I could dig up on you.
It was, yes, yeah. I was studying computing and games development in DKIT.
Okay.
And that was great. Obviously, it was a great thing to do, and it gave me a lot of experience, like code wise and that, but it didn't actually give me any work experience at all. I understand that the course has changed since, but I can't say anything about that because I haven't done it.
You hadn't considered an apprenticeship yourself until it was suggested to you by Ecom. So they're a very dynamic company to suggest, that to encourage you on and to suggest something like that.
Yeah, exactly, and it's really the only way that I differ from anybody else in the class is the fact that I went to a company first rather than going for the apprenticeship program first, because I had no idea that you could apply for an IT apprenticeship. And I've got 5 months left in it now.
Yeah, brilliant.
So, yeah.
That's brilliant. So you're out, so you're 2 days a week out, or what way does it work for you, just in terms of?
Recently we moved to the 1 day a week in college and 4 days a week in company. And lucky enough, our lecturer was very dynamic when pandemic and all the lockdown hit. And pretty much within a week, he had set up online sessions through software called Discord. So it was literally just straight on, and he could share a screen with us. We could ask him live questions, and it was nearly like being in the classroom with him. We didn't miss a single step.
Okay.
And one of the best things about our course as well, this is Roisin was saying with the QTIs only being level 6. One of the best things about our course is that we get a industry standard qualification at the end of our course. So I'm doing the Microsoft C# exams. I said it's an industry standard, so it's recognized worldwide. No matter where you go in the world, you can go, I have this qualification. It's from Microsoft.
Excellent.
And it's all thanks to the apprenticeship program that I get a chance to do that, and that I get to sit that, and I get the help and the attention from the dean, who is an amazing lecturer.
Okay. So are you remote at the minute? I see a lot of little characters in the background there. Is that part of the decor in ecom, or have you been banished to the home office like the rest of us?
Yeah, this here is the home office. So ecom themselves have been fantastic with the work from home options as well. Like we said, the fact that I've had 2 open heart surgeries, I'm considered high risk by the HSE. So I'm supposed to cocoon, I'm supposed to stay at home, and there hasn't been a problem with that so far. Even with RTSC in Dundalk, there has not been a problem there either. We can go back to class if we want, but if we feel safer studying from home, they've given that option as well.
Okay.
And we've continued with the online sessions through there.
Well done. This webinar has been recorded, and it will be circulated out to the career guidance counsellors in the secondary schools across the region. What advice, considering that the students will be watching you, Mark, if you speak directly to them, what's your advice in terms of your experiences then?
Don't be afraid to go for it. If it's something that you really enjoy, do it. Like, I worked for nearly 8 years in a car park, and I enjoyed the job. It was an easy job, but it wasn't satisfying. You didn't get any sense of like job satisfaction from it. And I think I was in ecom less than 6 months, and I started to get that satisfaction. Like, it's such a big part of actually having a job, is to get that job satisfaction, and you don't even realize it until you get it, until you're in a place where you feel satisfied with what you're doing, and you realize, oh, this is something that I actually really want to do. This is like, I like this. So make sure that whatever you're doing is something you really want to do. That's
brilliant advice. Thank you very much, Mark. It's great to have a little bit of money at the end of the week as well. It's great.
Yeah, definitely.
The earn element of that is super. Okay, so yours is the software developers apprenticeship, and it's how many years is that one? Just Mark?
2 years.
It's on that 2 years, and you're almost finished. 5 months off finishing. So.
5 months off finishing, yeah. So from there,
and very, very best of luck to you. I'm sure, I've no doubt you'll blaze a trail wherever it is you go, but you seem very happy and content and relaxed. And when you spoke with us in February, you also had that passion for ecom and the job that you're in at the minute. I know that the whole world has moved to, or tried to move to contactless payments at this point. So you're busy, no doubt about it.
We are indeed.
The experience that you've gained there is actually impressive.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal is exactly the word. Lovely comments coming in here. Just fair play, Mark. Excellent presentation skills. Also, super contribution from Mark. Good luck in the future. Well done, Mark. Thanks for sharing. Will help other adults to return to apprenticeships, and best of luck and keep safe. Okay. So thank you, Mark. We're at 2 minutes off 1 o'clock. I just want to thank our 3 contributors today. Anthony from the Regional Skills and Training Centre in Dundalk, Willie from CalX Instrumental Calibration Services, and Mark, the apprentice who's almost finished, and then it'll be a past apprentice. Mark, it's hard to believe when you start these things, you never think they'll finish. Our sponsors for today: Meath County Council, the LMETB, the Regional Skills Training Centre in Dundalk, Solis, and the Regional Skills Forum Mideast. As I said, there are other people on this call representing the Regional Skills Centre in Mideast: Siobhan Keogh, Aoife McDade from the LMETB, Jackie Breen from the LMETB, and Elaine Peters from Entrio, and others. All of their contact details will be on our website through the job section, or the Meath job section of countymeathschamber.ie, and we'll have the links off there to the different training and jobs opportunities. I'd just like to thank you all for your time. any questions that come in after we finish up here, we'll push out to the speakers, or we'll try to answer them ourselves, or signpost them off to where you'll get the best answer. And this was the first of a 4-week webinar series. They're running on Wednesdays at noon for all through October. So today we looked at apprenticeships. Next week we're going to focus on remote working. Is it here to stay, and how we can all adapt on it? Looks like it's definitely here to stay for the medium term anyway, now that we're all in phase 3. The next week on the 21st of October, we're looking at interviewing webinar how to ASAT interview through webcam and CV prep, and we'll have inputs again on all of our webinars. We'll have inputs from the key stakeholder, from the employer, and from the candidate. And on week 4 on the 28th, we will focus directly on and entirely on skills and training opportunities in the region. So as I say, it's part of our month-long celebration of jobs and skills and training in Meath and in the region. So if you log on to countymeathchamber.ie's jobs section, you'll get any opportunities and links off there. And I would just like, from a Chamber's point of view, and we have background team here, we've got Trish and Mark in the office, and we have MG Audio, who's helping us with our tech today. So just like to thank the background team here. Thank you all for your time, and I look forward to seeing you again in a week's time. And we'll pick up on remote working. We'll see everybody's office. At that point, we'll see the background of everybody's home office. So take care, and thank you all for your time.